Hi, boys and girls! Today you're going to get to listen to the story Swamp Life. While you listen to the story, I want you to work on making predictions. Remember, to make a prediction, you combine information from the text with your prior knowledge or what you already know to try to anticipate what will happen next. The goal isn't to always predict correctly, but to make sure that you're thinking and understanding what you read. Swamp Life. Remember, we're talking about how animals survive. Think about this question while we read. Swamps are filled with many insects, birds, and animals. How do animals in swamps survive? Welcome, swamp visitors, Rachel said as she gathered a group of students from Mr. Litton's second grade class around her. Are you ready to listen? Let's think about the word visitor. A visitor is a person who goes to a place and stays for a while. It says here that Rachel gathered the group of students from Mr. Linton's second grade class who were visitors. They must be visiting the swamp on a school trip. They're visitors. They're just here to visit for a while. Are you ready to listen? Yes, everyone shouted. Rachel put a finger to her lips. Shh, she said. Let's listen. Danny listened. At first he heard nothing. No honking cars, no people talking, no loud vehicles or faraway booming music. I don't hear anything, he said. Ranger Rachel smiled. Now let's listen again, she said. Danny listened again. Soon he was hearing sounds, all kinds of sounds. The more he listened, the more sounds he heard. Buzzing, humming, swishing, clicking, croaking, chirping sounds. After a while, Ranger Rachel took her finger from her lips. Can anyone guess what you heard? She asked. I'm going to stop here and retell what is happening in this story. Mr. Linton's second grade class has taken a trip to the swamp. Ranger Rachel is showing them around and teaching them about swamp life and animals that live in the swamp. Right now, the students are listening for sounds that they hear. Since they are listening to these sounds, I'm going to make a prediction. I think the noises Danny heard are frogs, birds, and insects. He said he heard buzzing, humming, swishing, clicking, croaking, and chirping sounds. Those sounds remind me of frogs, birds, and insects. That's going to be my prediction. I'm going to keep reading to see what is actually making those sounds. I heard a bird singing, Kim said. I may have heard a frog croak, Danny said, but I'm not sure. Let's think about the word croak. To croak means to make a low sound. One of the students said he may have heard a frog croak. That means that maybe the frog is making a low sound. Have you ever heard a frog croak? What other animals or creatures do you know of that croak? It means make a low sound. I heard an insect buzzing, Pedro said. Dragonflies buzz, Ranger Rachel told him. Do you think it was a dragonfly? I'm not sure, Pedro said. Ranger Rachel pointed toward the water. Look, there's a dragonfly zooming up from the water. Careful, dragonfly! It must sense danger. Dragonflies buzz when they rub their wings together. Is that what you heard? Just then, the dragonfly zoomed past Pedro. Yes, Pedro cried. I heard the dragonfly buzz. I can confirm my prediction. The sounds were made by birds, frogs, and a dragonfly. Let's keep reading to see what other animals or creatures are at the swamp. Spring is here, Ranger Rachel said. The swamp is waking up after a long, cold winter. Snakes, fish, lizards, turtles, and beavers are coming out of their winter hiding places. Blackbirds, swamp sparrows, and other birds are stopping by as they fly north. The birds are visitors just like we are. They will find plenty of food to eat and water to drink in the swamp. Ranger Rachel pointed to a pile of twigs and logs and grass and mud in the middle of the swamp. "Can anyone guess what that is?" she asked. "I'm going to make another prediction." Ranger Rachel mentioned animals are coming out of their winter homes. "I bet the twigs, logs, grass, and mud make an animal home." What do you think? Do you have a prediction? "Did a beaver build it?" Tico asked. "Right! That's a beaver's home. It's called a lodge. Swamps are perfect for beavers. There are trees and branches to chomp with their sharp teeth and use to build their homes. There's water to drink and swim in, and plants and tree bark to eat." As I continued to read, I learned the twigs, logs, grass, and mud made a beaver home called a lodge. What was your prediction? Were you able to confirm or check on what you had predicted? If not, keep reading. There's still more to learn from this text. "I didn't hear any busy beavers building and chomping," Danny said. "Beavers come out at night," Ranger Rachel explained. "They are nocturnal animals, like owls and raccoons and some frogs. They are all asleep now because it is daytime." "I'm wondering," Danny said. "Yes, Danny?" Ranger Rachel said. "Well, people need to eat, so I guess animals in the swamp do too. So I'm wondering where they get their food. Creatures that live in or near the swamp have plenty to eat and lots of water to drink. That's one reason they live here. Can anyone guess what they eat?" Let's talk about the word reason. A reason is why something happens or why you do something. In our story, it tells us that one reason that the creatures live in or near the swamp is because they have plenty to eat and lots of water to drink. This is why they do it. Ranger Rachel has just asked the students if they can guess what the animals around the swamp eat. Can you make a prediction about what animals in the swamp might eat? Let's keep reading to check on your prediction. "Birds eat berries and seeds," Millie said. "That's right," Ranger Rachel said. "Some birds also eat worms, insects, and other bugs." "What do dragonflies eat?" Pedro asked. Ranger Rachel smiled. "Dragonflies eat mosquitoes and other insects. There are lots of those here. There's plenty of food and water for everyone. There are plants for the tadpoles. There are seeds, berries, and worms for the birds. Frogs use their long, sticky tongues to capture insects for dinner. The animals all depend on each other to survive in the swamp. Let's listen to the sounds and guess the animals that make them." Let's talk about the word capture. When you capture something, you use force to get it or to catch it. It talked about frogs using their long, sticky tongues to capture insects for dinner. Let's check on that prediction you made about what animals at the swamp eat. Here are some of the things animals in the swamp eat: berries, seeds, worms, insects, and plants. Were you able to think of some of these things? "Chirp, chirp, tweet! I hear a bird," said Tico. "Rustle, rustle. That must be a squirrel moving in the bushes," said Danny. "Buzz! That's a mosquito," said Millie as she swatted around her head. Everyone laughed. Then the class closed their eyes. They listened to all the humming, buzzing, chirping, singing, swishing, hissing sounds, like a lovely swamp chorus singing together. The word chorus means a group that sings or dances together. All the sounds that the children heard in the swamp were like that of a chorus. They will all work together to make such a beautiful sound. The humming, buzzing, chirping, singing, swishing, and hissing sounds made a swamp chorus. You did a great job listening to Swamp Life. Now it's your turn. I want you to retell the events of this story to someone in your family. Think about everything that happened. You can go back and rewatch this story if you would like. And when you're finished, use your own words to retell the story to someone in your family.